Let's see. Okay, this is fine so far. I don't like... You can't control this, but I don't like that your Sigma just immediately dropped. Like, or no, sorry, that's your Junkrat. I don't like that your Junkrat immediately dropped. I guess, like, because now he has to either walk up the stairs, taking a while, or waste his concussion mine to get back up. I think the high ground is important, but, like, obviously you're Mccree, you're up here, you should know that. Or not, but... okay, so... I don't know exactly... Wait, I'm gonna watch this again. So, like, here is a completely okay spot to position. I mean, personally, I would probably be farther on the left side, like literally to your left, where there's, like, the corner of the ramp and, like, building you're on. It's a bit more, like, open because, like, you can see more stuff. You can retreat down the stairs to the mini if you really need to. This way, if somebody dives to your left, you immediately have to walk far right and be scared away, and which is a lot harder because you get split off, like, it's kind of yikers. But back, I would say to the left a little, but, like, that shouldn't cause... This positioning itself should be fine. But then what you do later on in a sec is really scary. Like, your Junkrat or Sigma are main, drop down main, I think, but your Reinhardt, your Mercy, and your Moira are assume right behind you right now. So I have no idea why you're going for this far right flank, because this is just kind of weird to me. You don't really have any vision of anything that's to your left. Like, even if you see something on your right, you're giving up both the high ground as well as so much visual of what's happening around you. Like, you literally can see nothing... You can see most of the fight, and once that payload moves past this corner, it's out of your vision. So I assume you'd have to rotate, but regardless, this isn't a good positioning. And the Winston dives you in like 2 seconds, which I don't like. I think that, like, even if you flash the Winston, even if you fan him, even if you kill him, it still is an overall better time to be with your team and on the high ground than whatever you're doing right now. Okay, and the Hog's also over here. So I think the Hog hasn't hooked yet, but regardless, it's really scary that both the tanks are right here, and your Reinhardt is still on the high ground. Even if your Sigma somehow sends a shield over, you're super isolated from the rest of your team. Okay, you got the Winston, that's pretty good. But still, like, right now, you can't see any of your team. You have no idea what's happening, and you're still taking all the damage from the enemies right now. If you and your team are basically already split, if they start losing or you start losing, neither of you can help each other. Okay. Okay, that's fine. But see, like, you're vibing here for a really long time, and you can't see anything that's happening. Like, you don't really even see the fight that's going on right now. Like, it's nice that you're getting picks, and it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's not justified because it's still a terrible place to be, I think, overall. You want to be on the high ground as Mccree. You want to be able to get the angles. And when you get your high noon, it's even more important. Okay, yes, okay, whatever, I'm gonna keep watching. So, right now your whole team is dropped. I would not be playing this far up because you know they have a Hog, you know they have a Winston. It's going to be a lot harder for your team to help you if you're all the way on the right side. If the Hog hooks you, if the Winston dives you, that's pretty close to it. Versus if you're in your team right now on the far left, it's a lot more useful. This is a random, by the way, Albert, this is a random YouTube video I found of a guy playing Mccree. It's not anyone we know, but it's just like, it's just to help me practice as well as I can to give him feedback. Okay, your Mercy's with you, and the rest of your team I assume is still behind you, but it's still a bit scary. Okay, I think you win the 1v1, but also, I think it's unwise. I don't want to say take the soldier at range, but like, you did. If the soldier, like, the one thing the soldier can do at any distance is Helix Missile, and he can also battlefield at any point. But regardless, I think that in an overall long match, you would lose to the soldier purely because he can out-heal you. But if you get up to him, you can utilize your fan, you can utilize your flash, you can combat roll up to him so you can move faster, which, while he might be able to Helix you, I still think it might be warranted because you could one-shot him with the fan flash combo. Okay, it's unfortunate, but your Ryan is playing super far up right now and taking a ton of shield break from the Junkrat. But, like, we're just gonna keep ignoring that. Also, the Reinhardt, you're playing with double shield, but you're not playing with double shield. As in, the Reinhardt, like, was hard shielding right here, Your Junkrat's lobbing grenades through, even if it's hard to see, I still think it's better because if you're playing on the right side, you can get discorded, you can get hooked, you can get dived easier, and you can get shot by soldier. Versus on the left side, you can do everything you're doing right now, maybe from a slightly smaller viewpoint, but with a lot more safety. So remember, awareness, positioning, play with your team. Also, really quick, let's see what you wanted in the Reddit. I just wanted to see. Okay, he just wants general advice. Okay. Okay, you go back to this place. This isn't a safer place to be when the team's pushing. It's still equally dangerous. Like, all it does is, like, increase the distance from them to you. But they have Zenyatta, they have Soldier. That doesn't matter much. The Mercy can pocket them. You can still get hooked pretty easily. They have a Reinhardt now, so it's a bit harder to get dived. But still, they have a lot of range on you and a lot of access to you that if you stood behind the Reinhardt and the Sigma, they would not have access to. You have your eye Hanun here. I would be at least on the left, most likely on the high ground. Well, I know. I would be playing with my team. I wouldn't be on the high ground by myself Hanuning because that's just as bad, but regardless, preferably you'd save High Noon for when your team's in a better spot. Or you use it for a reload, or if the Mercy Valks, that would also be worth, just one-shotting the High Noon, one-shotting the Mercy that's Valking with High Noon. That's honestly a totally fine thing to do. If they're transing, you can still one-shot them with a High Noon there. Yeah, one thing I don't think a lot of people realize is that because they have a Zenyatta, that doesn't really save them from a lot of stuff. You have a Junkrat and you have a Mccree. Both your ults will completely kill through the Transcendence. Transcendence is not Lucio beat. It doesn't give people more health. It just heals them very quickly. So it doesn't stop it doesn't really stop burst damage if it's literally one-shotting damage. Like a Tyre will still do 300 damage, and a Trans won't be able to prevent that. But see how right now you have to rotate all the way to the high ground, and I don't know if you're trying to back up, if you're trying to High Noon, but regardless, you have to walk all the way back to the high ground to get to your team safely, which I don't like. Also, you shouldn't be High Nooning behind something and then walking out. Like, that might be okay, but I think that if you don't think you'll be you're really announcing your position before you even do anything. I think that it's not going to matter much, and the benefit of High Noon is that the longer you stare at somebody, the faster you want to lock onto them fast and get rid of it fast, because you're a slow-moving target that does a lot of damage, so the team wants to get rid of you. But I don't think you should be staying behind this building right now. I think you should be walking over and High Nooning the second they can see you. Okay, I assume you're going to get the Valk right now, which is totally worth. Be careful not to get hooked. Okay, that is unfortunate. I think that if you position farther to the left, i.e. the high ground not behind cover, then you would have been able to get the Valk. Because the only reason that you couldn't get that Valk right now is because you started it... Wait, let me watch this. So you ran out of time, you had about 1 second left, and then you High Nooned. If you started a bit more to the left, you would have definitely killed the Valk. Okay, one other thing, you're getting pocketed. You don't need to wait for the healing to happen. Okay, whatever. That point is okay. You were pretty low, so I guess you wouldn't want to peek, obviously, but still. Nice. Nice work. Okay, that's pretty poggers. Okay, and then you want to rotate back to your team. I like this. Remember, be with the team fight. Okay, that you just wasted a lot of time for some reason, like looking left and then walking backwards for 2 seconds. There's no need for you to do that. I think, honestly, you just want to, one thing that a lot of people struggle with at lower SR is not doing things fast enough. You don't rotate with your team fast enough, you're not with your team fast enough, you don't ult at the right time, you ult too late or too early. It's a lot about the efficiency of how well you can do something. So I think the extra 3 seconds you spent there, I don't know if you could have prevented or saved anything. I don't know if you could have saved the Mercy. You probably couldn't have. But regardless, it's still better to get to the team fight faster if that's the intention, to have a full team fight. Because right now you're trading picks right now. This is still 100% winnable, and you just wasted another 3 seconds of having a team fight with a person down. You. Good thing, though, is that you win it regardless, which is okay. So, best thing right now, your team goes back on the high ground or plays farther behind the payload. It's just a bit scary to be here, but I mean, it's okay. So one other thing I think is that that tower was really close and you barely got out, but you still want to like. I think that sometimes people lower SR will think that a lot of ults are scarier than they should be. Is that a tire like yeah it's scary, it could kill you, and you basically almost did. But I think the only difference between walking backwards and walking forwards is a 90% movement speed difference. You walk 10% slower than you do backwards than you do forwards. But still, if you walked backwards or like turned, you might be able to shoot the tire. And while it didn't kill anybody, it very likely could have. Your Moira might not have gotten away in time. She happened to, which is very good. But it's a good skill to practice being able to counter ults like that. You're Mccree, you're ranged. Your Reinhardt, if he died to that tire, it sucks for him. The best he's got is a fire strike, which is okay, but it could have been better when you're ranged. You could 3-shot, 2-shot, I don't know how much damage, but you can shoot that tire down a lot faster than he can land a fire strike. So you could have looked for that tire a bit more, is what I'm saying. So that again, it just goes back to the point of being aware of what's happening and be able to react and respond to that well. Okay, also, yeah, that's okay. You looked left when you left that mini room, and then you looked right. I'm just assuming you looked because there was a hog, because there'd be no other reason to. Okay, that is kind of uncomfortable. This isn't related to your skill, but I guess it doesn't matter. I mean, I just you basically just essentially were dead for the past 10 seconds, and that even you just stood there and asked for healing and watched your Mercy res your Moira, so meaning you couldn't get healing, and then afterwards you just died to the soldier on the high ground. You heard the hog ulting, and you knew that your Reinhardt was probably getting attacked by him since you can see your Reinhardt through walls. You know that he was getting booped up against the wall with the hog ult. So I would have probably maybe walked down, see if I could shoot at people, but played safely. So maybe walk like here on the right side or left side, like just try to be against a wall of some sort, because while you're obviously already very low and it's very scary, you still don't want to just stand there and vibe out in the open as you're waiting for healing. Either try to create value, try to get farther away to a safer place. Don't just not know what to do and wait for somebody to heal you. Because especially, this might be different in a very coordinated team-based game. Like, I mean, this is a team-based game, but I mean, if you were with a coordinated team who are all talking in voice chat, it's different. But when you're in solo queue, you can't always rely on your healers to be able to respond fast, quickly, and with great rigor. So you have to make sure to care for yourself and your team equal amounts. Alright, that's unfortunate. Nice combo roll, nice combo roll. Okay. This is fine, I guess. One thing also is that you don't really just want to stand still a lot, because when they have a Junkrat, a soldier who can helix missile, and a Zenyatta who can right click, a Roadhog who can hook, all of those guys could easily peek a corner for 2 seconds and use an ability and shoot, and you might just frickin' die. So don't like hook, right click, like all of those things could happen very quickly. Don't let that happen. Don't stand still and just vibe for the team. And obviously, it's super unlikely. What if the Zen suddenly felt like being aggressive and walking out and going for a right click and you're right there? Like, he could perfectly hit you. He knows where the spawn is. It's right there. It's always right there. He could very easily shoot that spawn and he might have killed you. And obviously, nothing happens, but it's a good skill to get early before you go into later ranks, when that can be taken advantage of and done a lot more. Also, one other thing, you guys killed it early. You might have done this. Just remember, you can also interrupt a charge with a flash. A lot of movement abilities you can stop completely in their tracks with any sort of stun. Brig stun, Mccree flash, etc. You just, like, damage is good, but it's like, if you don't think you can burst them to death in that time, a flash is better. Also, I might have been contesting the soldier a bit faster, I guess, in the sense that I would be more aware of the right door, because that soldier was shooting at your team for a bit too long. And you have to be careful of the Roadhog hooking you, because he came out that door too, but just be aware that you're the only hit scan on your team, and that soldier's the only hit scan on their team, so you guys are the best counters to each other in that sense. In that, like, yeah, you can get countered by other stuff, Junkrat Mind, Scary, whatever, but you guys have the greatest ability to contest each other at range, so be aware of that. That's unfortunate. Okay, I like that. You know what I said about the flashes beforehand? That's exactly why. I know you went for it, and I'm proud of that. It's fine. Okay, you see how your Reinhardt stood still and then got hooked? If only there was someone that could give that sort of advice about not getting hooked by standing still. Anyway, back to the vid. I like that contestant. Okay, you just let the ball roll directly by you. I would have definitely flashed him and fanned him. And even if that doesn't kill him, it at least stops him in his tracks and scares him a bit to know that, okay, someone would at least contest me. Which kind of scares him away from going back in your team and trying to go for a pick. So, because your flash is one of the best CC abilities that your team has right now. Mines take time to go. The Sigma Rock charges up forever. You have a CC that basically goes very fast. And it stops a lot of stuff. So your flash is good, has a fast cooldown. You want to use it as much as you can, but not be stupid with it. Like, you see how that ball just walked up on you again? You haven't flashed that ball any time yet. Like, I would have definitely flashed that ball the first time I said to flash him, or just now. Also, I want to watch you High Noon again, because ignoring what happened with the ball, I just want to see. So your thinking for the High Noon, I guess, is that besides whatever else you can get the Vow, which I like, I guess. That's pretty good. Okay, that's good. I'd call that a worthy trade. That is pretty unfortunate. Let's watch that. Okay, I'm not gonna say that was your fault because Junkrat grenades are scary, but I think the other thing is you could have the Mercy sorry, not the Mercy, but the Hog threw a hook in, and that's kind of scary. And I guess I'm gonna watch your position one more time. You see how you're standing out in the open right now, and your whole team is vibing on the right side? That's not something you really want to do that much. I think that if your tanks are not main, you don't want to be main. Like, even if their tanks right now, their Hog is still main, and that's really scary because he could hook you, and he tries to get a hook on someone. So just be careful of where your team is playing and make sure to play with them. And, that doesn't give you the best range, but at least walk behind that shield. Like, if you literally walk forward 2 feet, then that Hog has a much lower chance of hooking you. Like, see right now, if you just take a step to the right and take a step to the forward, you're golden. And that sucks. The Mercy could have done the same thing, walked more to the right, she would have been completely fine. That is unfortunate. That is the other thing, though. I say go to the right because you can dodge with the hook. The other thing is, overall, real cover beats shield cover, in that sense that, shields can break, real cover can't. So while you should be aware of where the payload's going, and that it's good that your tanks went right, and then I guess they charged in, that could have happened a lot sooner or a lot later. So now their soldier got all this access, meaning basically there's a certain flow to where you want to move as a team as the enemy progresses the payload, and You want to like rotate not to the right, but back to the left from where you are right now, meaning where that Sigma is. On the other side of that is where you would want to go.
Back into the mix. Group up here.
Hog indeed, Albert. Hog indeed. You better flash this ball. So I don't really know why you're taking this flank, because your Mercy's still up. She can help you a lot better. If that ball rolled into you, what do? Like, you're going to walk all the way back to your right again and ask for the Mercy's help? No. But if you're main, then it's a lot better. And flanks are good, but you don't want to do it if they're not fully pushing you yet. Like, you're not getting punished, but still, play with your team. And I'm not saying you could have stopped that hog, but you might have been closer and not been able to flash him. Obviously, you'd be closer to the hog and more likely to be hooked, but also you're with your team and you have to rely that they can help you. The problem is, this is a different tip, but it's an overall balance between how well you can play yourself, how well you can play in your end. All right, bye, Albert. Thank you for watching. But anyway, it's an overall balance between how well you can play your character versus how well you can play the elo you're in. Thank you, adios. So, if you can like obviously you can't always rely on your team, but obviously you have to be aware that tanks still play tank roles, DPS still play DPS roles, support still have to support. So make sure that you know what's going on and that you're able to still support DPS tank in that sense, however. Okay, I like you're contesting the soldier, by the way. I was like, it's a good thing to be aware to do this. So I would be helping your I like that you're playing with your Sigma. Make sure to rotate with him since he's a free shield, and just be aware that your Reinhardt was in there, and you were aware that he was alone, right? Like, you see he gets hooked. I'm gonna watch this happen. That's kind of scary. I would be shooting that hog right now because he's completely by himself right now. You should be shooting him down right now. Which is good. I like that. Like, it's kind of a challenge between how well you can take advantage of your ability to get picks versus peeling for the team, in the sense that you want to get picks, but more importantly, you want them to not get picks. So while you're flanking, you might have been able to pick the Mercy, you might have been able to pick the Junkrat, but also you have to make sure that you're able to you're able to help your team first. A pick is pointless if your team dies. Like, your Reinhardt doesn't die because your Mercy's able to help him, but say the Soldier looked down, say the Junkrat looked down, say the Zenyatta started shooting more, which he already is. That could have been a lot worse situation for your Reinhardt right now. And your Sigma's playing way back with you. He was not able to help. He could have sent over a shield, but still, make sure to help. You have a flash. You can stop stuff. Also, I see we have a couple more viewers in chat. If you guys have VODs or want to ask questions, it's completely okay. Okay, I don't really like what you're doing right now because the hog ult is kind of scary. My thinking is that the only possible reason you could do that is because you want to sneakily go behind him and flash the hog ult. Regardless of why you're going over here on the left side, it's kind of a bad idea because the Reinhardt just got a shatter, and you can, like, let's go back a second. You're completely okay right here on this right corner where you are to, like, survive the hog ult, and if the hog was aware that you went to that corner, he would have to get close enough where you could flash him. I would rather play with your team, hope your Reins and Sigma shields hold up long enough for you to flash the hog ult and go all the way to the far left. Because even if you're going for a flank, even if you're getting a pick in some sense, you're taking yourself out of the fight and making it a 6v5 for a solid 3 seconds. And that's only good if you're already winning the fight. Also, shield break, that's not a worthy reason to flank. See, right now, you're essentially in the same place that you were if you just walked forward instead of going for that flank, and you've gained no value from it. So this just goes back to the big tip overall is that you want to play with your team, and regardless of how well your teammates are, this is ranked, like obviously it's a roll of dice, but play with your team, take advantage of what their team does incorrectly, what your team does well, and make sure to take advantage of that, be aware of your own positioning, and be well aware of how well they can take advantage of you. Going for that flank could have totally ended the opposite way. Also, you should be up with your shield tank right now. I have no idea why you're playing so far back. Even if you need healing, there's a giant Reinhardt in front of you. He won't let you die. You're ranged, but you have fall off. So even if the soldier goes top left or top right now, you're still not going to do as much damage as if you up there a bit. And you want to rotate forwards to create. When your tanks create space like this, you want to take advantage of it. It creates opportunities for you. The soldier can shoot you better with a Helix missile than you can from that range. Like, play with your Reinhardt right now. Go for picks. It's a lot easier for you to get a pick than... I'm not going to say that, but it's better for you to go for picks with your Reinhardt right now than to wait for them to come to you with your Sigma. And your Reinhardt now is alone, but you know how he would not be alone? If you go up with your Reinhardt, you're in a better position. Okay, I was about to say maybe you should start breaking the Rhine shield because you're not really doing much damage to the guy on the top right, so good on you. Okay, the same thing happened with the tire in the first point. You have completely left the fight when you could easily be safe just going where your Sigma is. And even if you might have a higher chance of dying to the tire, you still want to be in the fight in the case of the chance that doesn't happen. Because basically, like, you turn back right now, you're so far out of it that it's kind of challenging. Obviously, you want to be at range. You are a DPS. That is a hit scan. But still, you can shoot tires. You can contest soldiers. You can hide from them well at where that Sigma and Mercy are, equally as well as where you are right now. It's not necessarily a bad play to do this, but be aware of how good you can be at taking down tires, at hiding from ults. Ults aren't one and done, you die, and that's it. Ults are still a fluid part of the game that can be contested, hidden, and beaten. I don't get where you're high nooning right now. If I was you, I would be high nooning a bit closer because they can simply rotate really easily out of it. Basically, all their team, like, the only thing you can see right now is this square and this rectangle. If somebody's here, they can easily walk left or right before you can zero in on them, even if they're squishy, I'd say. Somebody's here, walk left to the stairs or walk right out of it. Like, versus if you walk right here, suddenly you can see all of this. Like, it's a lot harder for them to hide, and even if they can hide behind this rectangle or go up those stairs or like go all the way over there, it gives you a lot better visual. You have a much higher chance of being able to do something. Worst case, you have more time to charge up your damage and do more damage with a body shot to them. See, you lucked out. The Junkrat didn't rotate well, but still, that's not going to always happen. And the soldier. But I'm also not trying to be hard on you. I'm just saying, like, these are skills you want to improve and work on as you go to higher SR. Like, seriously, when was the last time you flashed in this entire game? Like, it's a very useful thing to do, and the Rhine and the Roadhog have to be close to do stuff. Obviously, a hook is a different factor, but Reinhardt has to be swinging. Roadhog has a shotgun. He has to be right up in your face. Use those to disrupt them, and nothing else.
Never had a chance.
Alright. Okay, wait, I'm gonna see. So you have a Diva, Sigma, okay, Moira, Mercy, Junkrat. They have an Orisa, Sigma, Junkrat. So you guys have essentially the same comps, but you've both swapped out the Reinhardt. Okay. Okay, that, not worth. I don't really know why you just went back into spawn just to rotate down. The soldier would not be able to shoot you that well by the time you drop to the ground. You could have easily walked back, healed, and then immediately just walked forward from the high ground and dropped down. Worst case, you could combat roll to the high ground. I mean, combat roll off the high ground. Like, you waste another 3 seconds not being in the fight. I like the shield break. Also, one other thing, Orisa shields come back faster than a Sigma shield. Orisa shield is a new one on cooldown. Sigma shield, it's still like basically a Reinhardt shield. It still breaks and he doesn't have it. So if you're, I'm not saying that you shouldn't target that Orisa shield there because that Orisa shield was much more main in that fight. But be aware, Reinhardt and Sigma shields, they don't come back on cooldown. They come back with time and recharging. That's different from Winston and Orisa, which come back on cooldown. So you want to break Ryan and Sigma priority over Winston and Orisa. Like right now, if you don't think you can get a pick on that Junkrat, I would have definitely turned to this Sigma shield. Like, your range is pretty far. Either walk forward with your Sigma, don't die to the Junkrat obviously, so play safe still, but if you don't think you can get a pick on the Junkrat, like, contest him, but try to do damage to the Sigma shield as well. That is a Junkrat, right? I can't tell. The pixel, the quality's a bit weird. This is kind of scary, but I just want to see what happens. I did like that. It's a lot harder for a Junkrat to contest you at point blank, except because, like, Junkrat does well with spam, and he can break shields and stuff. And Junkrat does have the ability to combo you, though, with a single grenade and then a concussion mine. So you have to be aware of that. A good Junkrat could possibly stop in your tracks if you did that. But still, it is good to be on the high ground. Let's see. But the problem is, they're going to rotate under right now. It's not like they're on the high ground as well, and they're scared of you, so they're going to run back. No, they're on below, so they're going to walk down. So basically, in a few seconds, they either walk back far enough over here where you can contest them more, or you're just going to have to drop back down, so you wasted 3 seconds to, like, go up the stairs. And you did get the Junkrat pick, so I'm not saying it was a bad idea. I'm just saying be aware of how much value you're creating, not just that you're creating value by getting a pick. They do rotate. They don't rotate at all. I mean, sorry. They continue playing up. Your team lost your momentum, and they weren't able to, like, go off from it and continue the fight. So now you're essentially behind them right now. You have two choices. Either you can pretty safely rotate over here, go down the stairs, and then just be with your team. You can go right. I hope you do not go right, because you have to go for the long rotate, giving you a lot of time out of the fight, or you walk directly through them, risking death. Unless you get my play would probably be go for a pick for a bit more. Maybe you can get the Moira, or at least force the fade. Maybe you can do enough damage to your team that they can kill something. Just try to do well, but don't be here too long. That's good. That's the other thing. If your team does rapidly gain momentum and they can win the fight and push them down, I'd step here for a bit longer. I don't like this at all. I think you should be going back over there. You saw the Junkrat and you saw the Mercy, right? Like, you got the Orisa, which is really top tier. Right now, the Soldier is down here. I think the Moira and the Mercy, I'm not sure. But regardless, there's squishies down there. You want to continue contesting them. The Junkrat either has to jump up onto the high ground, and you can just run away, flash and run away, or the Soldier tries to shoot you, turning away from the shield break. Regardless, it'll help your team in some sense by reducing a DPS from attacking them. Like, you should have kept pursuing that. And you saw the Mercy was healing your Moira. I'm healing their Moira. You could have shot at her too, and she's a lot easier to hit. Like this, you're both wasting a lot of time. I don't know. I don't think that you knew the Soldier was coming up. If you knew the Soldier was coming up that way, that's a good play. I don't think that's the case, though. I think he just happened to run all the way back and then run up. Meaning that is not something that should happen. Also, if this Soldier's coming up right now, I would probably jump up here. I'd probably be walking up here, wait for him to come out a bit more, and then flash fan him, because it's a lot faster to kill him, because I don't like taking long 1v1s against a soldier if I'm Mccree. Mccree doesn't heal. Mccree doesn't have helix jump. The one thing Mccree does is he can burst you down with the flash fan. Mccree likes short fights. And see, now the Sigma's up, and this is a whole terrible place to be. You also just didn't have awareness of the stairs where the Sigma came up the stairs. You have no idea how your team is doing right now. The fact that the Sigma could freely walk away up here means that something's happening that's wrong. You should definitely be getting off the high ground at this point. And obviously you died, but I would have not turned here. If you were still facing towards them, you would have been able to see the Sigma coming up, and even if you didn't see you probably would not see the soldier coming up, but you could definitely combat roll off a lot faster, because you don't need to know you don't need to see you're taking damage to know you're taking damage. You can still just combat roll off the second you get hit by the first soldier shot, by the first Sigma shot. You're just gone, and that would have been the play. See, that's all unfortunate. Also, when did you combat roll? Yeah, that's a fine combat roll. I'm fine with that combat roll. You're just trying to use it to get out. I'm gonna ignore your mercy trying to pistol the Sigma.
It'll take more than that.
Heroes never die.
That's fine. Fan of Hammer is good for shield break. I don't like this high noon because of the giant shield in front of everything. Granted, it does get you 2 picks, but why? Huh. The reason I don't like that high noon is because you're farther away, so it takes a bit longer to range onto them, as well as also they had an Orisa shield up that entire time. And while coalescing isn't obviously going to stop the one shot, it still is a bit more challenging to put off. And the coalescence has a big range, so if the Moira saw you high nooning, she could have just coalesced you down. Yet you get a 2k. Curiously, your Sigma was able to break the shield, I think, or it disappeared, meaning that the Moira and the Orisa were free targets. High noon is good for a few reasons. Some people will high noon purely like... No, okay. So high noon is good because you can both use it just to simply get your bullets back. A high noon reloads your ammo, so you can simply use it, cancel it, and it's much faster than reload, and you get all your bullets back. The other thing is that I think it's a bit challenging to do Mccree into double shield. By double shield, I mean the Orisa Sigma, because they have 2 shields that come fast and move fast. So I think that you should treat your high noon as a bit less important when they have 2 mobile shields that can prevent you from doing well with your high noon. And you lucked out. Somehow you were able to work through the double shield and still get a 2k, which is really awesome. So overall, this isn't a bad play, honestly. It's peculiar that it worked out so well, but I think that in Orisa Sigma combos, you should treat your high noon as a bit less impactful when it is running into that. I'm not mad at that play, but I still think you might have wanted to go up a bit farther. You shouldn't be doing this. You're ignoring, like, even if you need healing, your healers can see it, and while need healing is nice, that's cool and all, I don't care so much about you saying that, but break this shield. You spend about 3 seconds waiting for healing when you could be shooting that Sigma shield. Remember, Sigma shield's like Ryan's shield. It doesn't come back on cooldown. It comes back with recharge. So you want to be breaking the shield. You should be walking up with your Sigma and Moira right now instead of waiting behind the card for healing. Even if you're 116 health, the payload heals you. Somebody's going to heal you by the time you get to over here. That's good. That's a bit scary, but it's okay. You're saying the Junkrat and the Soldier are a bit scary, but as long as you have your Sigma up with you, it's okay. What? Don't hesitate about if you should go for the Mega or if you should get healing from your team, which I'm assuming is what you're thinking about right now. You want to be aware that your team can help you even if it takes a second. Like, if you're really waiting for it, then that means you should go for the Mega. But if you really have to wait for it, that's a completely different issue, and that's on your team for not able to heal you. But you're wasting a lot of time right now not able to break that Orisa shield and not able to kill that Bongo, which is really scary for your team. Especially because they have high ground and a Junkrat. It's fine. I like that you're going up a bit, especially because you want to take advantage of the Sigma ults. So, shoot the people that are not moving in the air, but also contest the Sigma. So I think it is scary the Sigma's right next to you, but squishies in a Sigma ult are pretty vulnerable. So try to position around the Sigma ult as well. Like, you see this squishy and this squishy, they can't move. Shoot them. The Sigma is cool, but he's essentially in the same state he was pre-Sigma ult. Those guys, they're not moving, and they're stuck in the air. They have no shields. They're a lot more vulnerable. Take advantage of that. That's a good flash. If I see you run away from this tower right now, I'm gonna cry. Okay, you kind of ignored it, which I'm gonna attribute to the fact that it's hard to figure out where exactly it was going. The thing is, you don't want to run from the tower, but you also don't want to continue like you were doing beforehand. And while I was obviously berating you for running from the tower in the previous times, don't also act like it's not happening. You want to counter it by shooting it. You want to position yourself safely if that doesn't work, but you still don't want to just participate in the fight like nothing's happening. You could have turned around on the high bridge above you right now, like above you, like literally right above you, and like looked up there. I don't know if you've been able to contest it, but you might have. And now that the payload's a bit farther, you could have totally walked up to the top right to look for it. So like as the tire's coming, you heard it was kind of the top left-ish. Walking back is okay, but it doesn't give you as much space. And obviously, if the tire's looking for you, like, I don't think you'd be able to get bottom right in time or anywhere down this ramp to be able to survive it. So best chance, you go top right, you have more visual in the tower, you shoot it, and then you hide from it. Or you hide from it. Also, you can hear the Junkrat is definitely behind you right now. And now you definitely know the Junkrat is behind you. That's clean. Be careful right now. You're making good progress because the Sigma isn't aware of you, but be aware that as they come back, as the enemy comes back, they're going to be on your back right now. So be aware of them coming back and trying to shoot you. Like that soldier. You see how that happened, and I predicted something like that would happen, and then it happened? Yes. Be aware that a team fight isn't a team fight in isolation. When a team fight's lasted for a bit and picks have happened, eventually those guys are going to come back, and eventually that's going to be a problem. So be aware, again, of how long the team fight isn't a one-and-done thing. It's a fluid process that has ups, downs, and changes. It's not just who can do the most damage, who can ult the fastest and kill the most people. The longer a team fight goes on, the more, well, stretched out it gets. Also, you just got the point, so you don't need to play so scared in that room. Regardless, you're going to spawn and get there faster than they can stop you, so that's why they want to back up. I would have, the second you started looking at them, I would have walked over to the left and tried to shoot them. Obviously, the soldier ult is scary, so I wouldn't be, like, walking out in the open, but I would be behind this box, like, on the other side of this wall, and then shooting at them. Or at least continuing to shoot at the Sigma. The mortar's right here. Your healing should be fine. You don't need to go back into spawn. You can just keep shooting at them and be out here. Like, you could totally be on the left. Unless, I can't tell if you're the only one up right now. If you are the only one up, you might die, but it looks like you have somebody on the far left. I can't tell. Yeah, there's somebody. Oh, yeah, it's Sigma. Okay. Yeah, you should totally be right here shooting. I think this is their Reinhardt. Oh, no, that's their Sigma, but still. So you could have gone out a lot faster. I don't know why you went back in there. My only reason for you to walk back in that room is because you want to reload safely, which is okay, but still, you can combat roll if you really need bullets fast. Like, you can reload out there because you have a combat roll if you really need to get your bullets back and be away from conflict. You should be out there where you can see the fight going on and know what to take advantage of. You could have been, like, at least aware of that soldier. I mean, obviously, you're aware of the soldier. It's fine, whatever. I'd be contesting the Reinhardt right now. Good. It's good that you shot at that Mercy, but I feel like you might want to do it a bit faster. It's not a bad play to take other, like, it's good that you were aware the Sigma and the Junkrat were spamming that right room, making it really hard to get out of there as a squishy. So it's good that you want to go over here on the left, but also your Reinhardt and Sigma came back and were on the right with you as you were leaving. So you could have totally still exited that room with double shield. The Reinhardt and the Sigma would have also been aware of that problem, that there was so much spam there, that they would have definitely put up their shield to get through safely, meaning you could also get through safely. So you didn't necessarily need to take that choice. It's okay that you did, though. So I would have probably started shooting him a bit, but then I would have probably walked to the left, like on the left side of this block, walked up to him and tried to fan flash him again. Again, this goes back to the point that Mccree just doesn't last long against a soldier 1v1. And see how the Junkrat and Sigma were still spamming this entrance now because the tank's from the other side? Like, it's still hard to go through a choke because you don't have tanks. The Sigma came, and that's useful. He's another person they can shoot at, and he has a shield. Just be aware that being with your tanks sometimes is a lot more important than having a good spot to shoot at or shoot from. Okay, again, you're wasting 2 to 3 seconds just high nooning before you even can see them. High nooning before doesn't even give you anything. It doesn't lock in on them or anything when you can't see them. You want to high noon, and it takes time. It takes like a second or two to actually get the lock on, to like the skull that makes it so you can one-shot them for even low health squishies. So try to high noon when the second you can see them. Don't walk out. Like, you don't see the first person until 4 seconds. That's kind of unfortunate. You should probably high noon right as you can see them. That's good. But still, it could have been faster. You heard that charge happen? You should have turned to the left to make sure that you could flash it. Because you know the Reinhardt's in front of you right now. You hear that charge right there? That could have totally gone wrong, and he could have gone right past everybody and charged you. That obviously didn't happen because I think your Ryan countercharged or somebody stopped him somehow. But you have flash. You can stop it. But if you didn't stop it, you don't even turn to the left, so you have no idea what happens. Luckily, nothing happens. But be aware of the team fight. Be aware of where other people are. Make sure that you could have flashed that if it went wrong. Also, you're right inside the yeah, okay. The second you realize that you're in the Reinhardt, you're in swinging range, and he's definitely aware of you. He's in third person. He can see a million miles. So, like, what the frick? You're right inside this Reinhardt. You should turn to him, you should flash him, and you should fan him. Also, I'm assuming I don't know if you know what fan means. I mean fan the hammer, the right click ability Mccree, where he shoots like 5 shots. That's unfortunate, but also because you didn't like. I don't really know what you're paying attention to right now. It looks like you're looking everywhere. You should just take someone. The soldier's low. The Reinhardt's inside you. Those are much better picks. Even if you could also have shot for that Mercy. Like honestly, like that Mercy's over there, also a fine target, I guess. The Reinhardt would be the best. Soldier second. Mercy third. But still, just shoot at somebody, please. But I would have definitely flashed that Reinhardt that was inside you. I would have turned on him first. And then your Mercy pistols the soldier. Okay. And does the Reinhardt not even die? Oh. Oh no, he just died of the mortar orb, but still.
This lab stays in motion, excepting a number of circumstances, of course.
Heroes never die.
That is really scary. I might have wasted combat roll, like...
Heroes never die.
As this is happening, I might combat roll up to this just so the soldier can't see you. But personal preference. Man, but still, that's honestly what you probably should do. Okay. You're hiding from the tire. That's not going to do much. The tire is third person. It can move fast, and it has like 8 seconds to look for things. Like, this is not really the best. The tire will easily run over there and check for you. Like, you're creating no value by doing this. Best case, you run either to the stairway that's on your back left down here, maybe up to this, but obviously he can see you. So probably to the back left stairway, or back left here, or back right there. Regardless, you're super vulnerable even if you hide like this. So you want to be trying to shoot that tire down. Obviously the tire doesn't go for you, but it equally could have and would have definitely killed you if it saw you. Okay, so you get Helix missiled, and then that scares you, so you walk back down the stairs. Soldier has 1 Helix missile, and it's on a cooldown. The second that Helix missile hits, he's essentially just able to shoot like a regular person again. Like right now, you're standing up there, and it's no different from if, like, the second he Helixes you, that sucks, you got Helixed. But now, why do you walk back down versus just walking back up? The only difference would be if suddenly you could get healed. You don't get healed, meaning that there's no reason for you to be here right now. The second the Helix missile hits, you pause, you think about if you can continue contesting him. You obviously decide that you can, so you should be back up there much faster. Personally, if I was to continue contesting him this, I would probably walk towards him a bit so the fall off is less. And by fall off, I mean how bullets do less damage the farther away they've traveled. So if you shot somebody that was way over there, they would take less damage than if they were right in front of you on this pad. I mean, they would, yeah. So I would be walking towards the soldier right now, so the fall off is less, and worst case, you could combat roll down, or stay here because you want to go to the left side. But yeah, it's fine. I maybe don't walk up to him. This is honestly fine. But be aware, the soldier can still see you right now. I like that you looked up there just to make sure. That is unfortunate. I like this. Nice work. This is a bit scary, and that is a bit unfortunate. But I would have not... So, and while the Sigma was there, the Sigma just died. While the Sigma was there, you could have still looked and tried to shoot at the general enemy. But now that the Sigma's dead, it's a bit scarier because now it's just you up there. This is a moment where I would be retreating. The second you lost both your tanks, it's pretty hard unless you're getting picks. And while the Sigma has picked their Sigma, make sure to be able to figure out, this goes back to the point of be aware of the team fight. Know not just how long it's going, when it's happening, what's happening, but who's up, who's down, if it's lost or won. Right now, this fight seems pretty, like, even, but leaning on loss, so I would just be taking a breath and backing up to see what's happening. You get hard bursted right now because you've lost both your tanks. You have nothing really to cover you. Theoretically, you'd flash that Mercy also. But, I mean, yeah. I would, like, maybe if you saw that Mercy as you were backing up, you could have walked over to flash her and then backed up, but you don't even back up, so it doesn't really matter. Regardless, it's kind of a reset. Is that your soul? You have a Winston now? Oh, your Winston dived in. Oh, I guess you primal, but still. Kind of scary.
30 seconds remaining.
Okay, good. I was about to suggest if you were planning on flashing with the shield, which is good. That's good. Alright. I would have maybe shot at that tire a bit. You hear the tire is in your top left right now, so you know that it's going to come from the high ground. I would be looking, like, it goes right in front of you. Okay, I think you do shoot at it, so it's okay, but still. So, somehow... So that Sigma, theoretically, you think the Sigma's on your right now. The Junkrat does mine him, so he goes from being right here to soaring through the air over to here, which is kind of wild. But regardless, you, not knowing what happened, you look to the left. And you will take notice of the Sigma in like a half millisecond, and you start shooting at him. But still, don't... That Sigma should definitely be punted. Like, if the Sigma was still on the right, you should definitely be shooting at him. Obviously, the Junkrat CC, as in crowd control, as in the mine crowd controls him over to the left, like, makes it harder, but still. Take it, if somebody's in your team, they're the first to go. Don't try to help, don't try to shoot the front line when that's all happening the whole time anyway. Shoot the person that's throwing by walking directly into your team. And you better kill him. The Sigma doesn't even die. Like, it's annoying that you got CC'd right now, but like, you forget that right now the Reinhardt and the Sigma are directly behind you, and you're looking at the soldier in front of you. Like, it's important to realize picks are good, but threats are more important. So even if you get a pick, your Rhine and Sigma, their Rhine and Sigma are inside you right now. Be aware of what's happening. Be aware of the team fight, and shoot the two giant tanks that are trying to roll your backline. Because look what they do. They roll your backline. Sigma kills the Mercy, Reinhardt's swinging and gets the Junkrat, and they're taking damage the whole time from the other Junkrat. Like, you could have totally you could have maybe killed the Sigma, but you definitely could have turned around and shot at them a bit, and that might have prevented one of the many kills. Alright. So, overall tips. Your positioning in the beginning, it was a bit scary with the way you positioned on the stairs when you were on defense, but overall, it's not bad. I think that you have to be a bit more aware of what you're doing and the purpose of you doing stuff. Like, when you hide from a tire, are you really hiding from the tire? Do you think you can contest the tire? Are you able to contest a soldier? Be aware of why you're positioning the way you are, not just what you're doing it. Like, why you're... sorry, that sounded weird, but just positioning is a super important thing to be aware of. Be aware that you can contest stuff, as in be aware of the team fight. So, positioning, and then the team fight. You want to be aware of everything that's happening to your best knowledge. Be aware where the tanks are, for example, just now. Like, throughout that whole time, be aware of who's in the high ground. Junkrat, soldier, be aware of the tanks frontlining. Be aware if the Mercy's throwing by flying directly in your team for some stupid reason. Just be aware of how long the team fight's going on for. Then that soldier came back when you were on the first point of attack, and he was able to shoot you because you were in the back line. So, be aware of the team fight and every facet of it, and position well and accordingly. Aim... I mean, I would say your aim is average. It can always be improved. My aim is obviously pretty not bad either. I mean, like, not good. So that's just another skill you can practice. But obviously that's not something that can be analyzed as well. But like, as your aim gets better, you could have shot that tire that dropped down from the high ground and maybe been able to contest it, and maybe been able to stop it from getting a double kill, winning that fight, winning the game. So make sure to be aware of like how your team is doing, how the enemy team is doing, how the team fight is doing, and what's going to happen. One other thing you want to like, this is another skill to be aware of, is that ult tracking and ability tracking are super useful. Hog has an 8-second cooldown. Hog has an 8-second cooldown on his hook, for example, meaning that once he throws a hook, you have 8 seconds where he cannot hook a single squishy, i.e. you, Mccree, meaning that you're free to do whatever you want. So it's not like you have to play behind shield constantly because you're scared of a hog hook. No, play behind shield. Once you see he hooks someone or doesn't, then suddenly he's not going to hook anybody for 8 seconds, so while you can still play behind shield, you can be a bit more freer in what you do. Same thing with ults, for example. This is different. Ult tracking is a super important thing. If somebody hasn't ulted in 2 fights, that means they definitely have it. So that means you should be aware of where that, like, say the Junkrat hasn't tired in so long, that means he probably has tire, meaning he's probably going to tire soon. Do you know where the Junkrat is? You don't? Well, that means you don't know where the tire is, meaning it's going to come from anywhere and kill your team. So ult tracking is important. And ult tracking, like, the way you ult track is kind of hard in that you can't obviously count the amount of damage. I mean, theoretically you could count the amount of damage somebody's doing to figure out what their percentage is on their ult exactly. Obviously that's not possible to do at all times, and it's a very hard skill to learn. But even then, sometimes it's not even the DPS's job to ult track. But as a solo person in ranked, it's better for your own safety as well to know when the Junkrat's going to tire, to know when the soldier's going to ult, to know when the Genji's going to blade. If you know the Genji wants to blade soon, you got to save your flash if the Genji's near you, and then you can flash him and fan him and kill him. If you don't save flash, the Genji blades into you, and that's it. So be aware of if they haven't ulted in a while, and try to do a bit of ult tracking. Know when they have ulted and when they haven't ulted, so you can try to counter it. So ult tracking, team fight awareness, and positioning, I'd say, are the 3 things that you need to improve on to be a better Mccree. I hope this helped in any way. Thank you for watching. And now, to the general stream overall, thank you guys for watching and coming, and I think this is super fun. If you want any more of this, please tell me in Discord DMs, join the Discord, talk to me on Twitter, whatever you want. Thanks for watching.